dribbling, cashing checks. College hoops beats pump breaking necks. GunzPicks in the air, we ain't playing nice. Best rolling, paper stacking straight ice. Double units fired, man, winners only. Player props hitting, no rolling lonely. Bankroll swole, just stacking that cheddar. Breaking ankles daily, no one do it better. Let's keep dancing, cannon shots fired. Cashing best clips, reloaded, never tired. Have ourselves a day, straight up ballin'. Every show lit, you know we all in. Hit the hardwood, buzzers buzz, call it lit. Numbers crunch, strategy so legit.
Yes, sir. We are back here, right here on the GunzPicks channel. It is the Breakin Ankle Show. I am the host with the most, point guard podcast, and the self-proclaimed CBB goat himself. Excuse me. We are back here to give out the Friday plays that pay the bills. We went 2-1 on the video plays on Thursday. Of course, we had to sweat one out here with with George Washington and Colorado State there at the end. Almost tried to give up the cover, but nonetheless, they still cashed our ticket. And this is why you need to like and subscribe to the GunzPicks channel and join up now. The likes are appreciated, especially the likes. We want to see the likes on this one and comments. I love to see the comments there. When people are commenting, I'm going to be answering them. So if you want to talk to the GUNZPICKS, that is how you do it. You do it through YouTube. As we get the chat going here, Chill Will in the building says, guns in the lab, always cooking, man. I've been cooking while watching games. And because I want to get the slate up, I'm going to be going to the A10 tournament tomorrow. Going to be watching 2 games on the early slate. So it's going to be an absolute electric time here for me. And I can't wait to talk about the games here tonight. So I got 3 plays, 3 winners, hopefully, for Friday. And we've just been cooking with absolute napalm, hitting over 60% on this show. We're going to continue this momentum all the way through March. So let's just cut the BS, cut all the riffraff and everything like that. Let's get into the plays. Let's start with the first one here. Let's talk the MAC Conference. And we're not talking about college football. We're talking about college basketball at Rocket Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. 5 p.m. is going to be the tip on this one. The biggest edge here with Akron versus Toledo. I should have said it was Toledo versus Akron in this position. The biggest edge here with Akron, in this spot, is Akron's offense versus the Toledo defense, because there is a significant edge here for the Akron Zips. They're 77th in offensive efficiency, 36th in field goal percentage, 91st in offensive rebounding, 103rd from the free throw line. They're going against a very bad Toledo Rocket defense. They are 350th in defensive efficiency, 354th in opposing field goal percentage, 236 in defensive rebounding, and 286 in turnover percentage. All bad numbers, bottom tier defense here for the Toledo Rockets. On the other side, Toledo's offense is ranked 93rd in offensive efficiency, 201st in field goal percentage, and 187th in offensive rebounding. But the Akron defense, I think, can defend this Toledo Rocket offensive attack. They're 154th in defensive efficiency and 94th in opposing field goal percentage. And they also guard the 3 very well. They're 41st in the country in opposing 3-point percentage. So I think there is an advantage there for the Akron Zips on the defensive side. Now, Toledo, where are they coming from? If you watch here this afternoon, hard-fought OT win versus Ohio, a team that they've kind of historically owned, got the victory in this one. So there could be a fatigue factor knowing that when you saw Akron, they kind of came very effortlessly in their game today. And then you got Akron, who's excelled in this point spread position. They've covered the last 4 straight games overall. So they're coming in this game red hot. Then they're 7-1 ATS as a single-digit favorite at 7 points or more. Then you got Toledo on the other side, who is underperformed in this type of situation. They're 2-7 ATS in the last 9 games, and they are coming off an OT cover as a dog. Now you got them at here as a heavy dog, single-digit wise, and then you have Toledo as 1-4 ATS as a single-digit dog at 4 points or more. This is also the 3rd meeting between these two teams. Akron has prevailed in the previous 2. They're 1-1 ATS in those positions, but they were 4.5-point road favorites in the first matchup. They were 7.5-point home favorites in the second matchup. Now you're seeing them as an 8.5-point favorite on a neutral site. This line should hit in between the middle on a neutral. However, the books are adjusting to the fact that Akron is probably going to kill this team, or they're trying to bait people to bet the Toledo Rockets, knowing what the perception of the public saw in that game versus Ohio. They're just thinking like, oh, they want the Cinderella story. They're going to get it here. I don't think that's going to be the case here with the Akron Zips. This is one of the better teams, if not the best team in the MAC. I think they get it done here versus Toledo. Toledo shouldn't have won that game. A lot of Ohio mistakes that were kind of predicated into that, but we're going to be going with Akron here, -8.5 as play number 1. All right, next play on the board, of course. I have to go back to the A10. I have to go back to the well. I have to go back to the same team that I picked in the previous day, and that is George Washington. George Washington is going to be playing George Mason in the spot in Capital One Arena. Washington, D.C., 5 p.m. is going to be the tip on this one. And listen, when you look at George Mason, let's start with George Mason here in this spot. Defense has excelled for them. Their offense has not. They're 20th in defensive efficiency, 4th in opposing field goal percentage, and they are 103rd in defensive rebounding. Now, on the offensive side, very different story. They're 217th in offensive efficiency. They're 151st in field goal percentage, 329th in turnover percentage. So they're very sloppy with the basketball. And they're also 236th from the free throw line, also 123rd in offensive rebounding. So bad shooting team, terrible with taking care of the basketball, and they're bad from the charity stripe. A lot of things that you don't want in a team if you're backing them from a betting perspective. Then you got to look at the statistical analytics here with George Washington as an inferior opponent, because you look at them statistically, they're pretty balanced, but they're not the greatest team overall as far as the whole resume of George Washington. But this team is playing red hot, and I think this is one of those situations where they continue to stay red hot, because George Washington is 7-2 ATS in the last 9 games, 3-1 ATS on a neutral floor, 6-3 ATS as a dog of more than 2 points. So this is a good spot here for George Washington. Now you got to look at the situation for George Mason. Underperforms in this spot. They're 0-6 ATS in the last 6 games, 2-6 ATS is a single-digit favorite of 2 points or more. Then you got to look at the angle here with George Mason, because do you realize that George Mason has not played a neutral site game all season long? This is going to be a very different environment here. Going against a George Washington team that is in their 5th neutral site game of the year. Now you got to look at the situation. Third meeting between these two teams. George Mason did win the first 2 contests, but they only won by 3 points in both of those situations. 1-1 ATS in those positions. George Washington has 1 game under their belt already in this gym at Capital One Arena. So they're going to be very comfortable in this situation, whereas George Mason is playing their first game in this gym and their first neutral site game in the conference. I think this is a perfect spot to be taking the dog. So we're going to be taking George Washington plus 2.5 as my doggy of the day for Thursday. Let's go. Yes, sir. I gave you 2 plays. I gave you 2 bangers. All you have to do is to like and subscribe to the GunzPicks channel before I get into my best bet. Likes. That's all I hit. The thumbs up. Just ping. And you know what you need to do? There's a share button there too. Share that video to your friends. Share that to everybody that you know. Are you in college? Are you a 20-something degenerate gambler like I was when I was a kid? You're going to share that video. Goes, look at this guy. This guy's electric. He's in his 40s. And he's got this energy like he's a 16 to 18-year-old kid. And he's giving out these brilliant plays and giving you winners. You need to be doing that. You need to go just like the videos, share the videos. And also, if you have not subscribed to the videos, or I'm sorry, to the GunzPicks channel, I should say, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit everything to get me in the algorithm that this YouTube, universe creates for any content creators on their channel. All right, Pre in the build. I'm just gonna call you Pre, man. Pre Yank. I like Pre Yank. Just sounds like I don't want to say it here. This is a children's show. I mean, we're trying to keep this thing a little bit more professional here. I digress. I know it's your name, but still, the gun is firing today. You know, I'm always firing. I'm always just throwing the hammer, bump stock, or just machine gun Cali. Just brrr, 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 brrr. I'm just gonna be killing those plays all the way through March. I mean, as long as there's college basketball to be bet, by God, I will have a play. I actually go by Pre. Good. Go for it. All right, Pre. I'm just going to call you Pre from now on. I think Pre does sound like a generous nickname for your name. I don't want to say Pre-Yank. Like I said, it's almost like an edging joke that could be used there, but I digress. Children's show, right? We're trying to keep this educational, but we're going to give us the best bet of Friday. Let's do it for the people. Here we go. And of course, I have to pick a game that I am going to be boots on the ground at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. That's right. It's going to be St. Bonaventure versus VCU. 11:30 a.m. is going to be the tip on this one. It's going to be very early for me. I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get dressed, and I'm going to go down there and watch some exceptional college basketball in the A10, especially one of my favorite teams to bet here in VCU. You can see where I'm going with this one. The game will be decided with the VCU offense versus the Bonnie defense, right? Offensively for VCU, 40th in offensive efficiency, 95th in field goal percentage, 12th in offensive rebounding. They're 99th from the charity stripe. On the St. Bonaventure end, their defense is 65th in defensive efficiency, 122nd in opposing field goal percentage, 76 in turnover percentage, and they're 36 in defensive rebounding. So yes, I say it again. It will come down to, can VCU get past this Bonnie defense? And I think they can in this position. The way the line is set, the biggest edge that VCU, the Rams, are going to have in this game is their defense versus this St. Bonaventure offense, because there is a big discrepancy from one and the other. You look at the Bonnie offense on this one, 185th in offensive efficiency, 194th in field goal percentage, 242nd in offensive rebounds, and they're 283rd from three-point land. They're going against a VCU defense that is top 25 in the country, 24th in defensive efficiency, 6th in opposing field goal percentage, 25th in turnover percentage, and they're 139th in defensive rebounds, 7th in blocks, 29th in steals. I can go on and on about this VCU Rams defense. This is what makes this team exceptional going into the tournament. Now, VCU comes into this game off a loss, too, by the way. If you remember, their last game of the regular season, they had to go play Dayton. It was a revenge spot for Dayton. VCU was missing one of their key contributors to their offense and defense, and that kind of predicated in the fact that they lost that game. So this was a game that I didn't even pick. I took it off the board, knowing that there was a key ingredient to what made that team successful out for that game. He is back in this position, and the line is showing it, which I like. VCU has also excelled in the double-digit favorite role all season long. They're 12-1 ATS is a favorite between 10 and 20 points. Where's the line sit right now? I've seen anything between 10.5 to 11.5. I say when I wake up in the morning, it's going to be 12.5. As long as that line stays between 10 and 20, we need to slam it as hard as we can. Like I said, VCU is 12-1 ATS in those positions. Most of those spots I said were, most of those spots were at home. However, the two spots that they were a double-digit favorite away from home, they're 2-0 ATS in those positions. So don't be scared of taking them in this spot, even though they're not playing at home. Then you got to look at the Bonnies in this situation. They are coming off a big win versus Duquesne. They were playing from behind in that game in the first half. I thought Duquesne was going to absolutely dominate them in that spot. They shot 39.3% from the floor which was less than Duquesne, yet they still won the game. So a lot of outliers have to happen in that game to make that happen, which will not repeat itself versus VCU in this spot. Then you got to look at the Bonnies as a double-digit dog. This is the second time only this season that that St. Bonaventure has been a double-digit dog. And guess what spot they were a double-digit dog was against? That's right. It was VCU on the road, and they lost by 14. And this line is sitting right around the same line that it was when they played against VCU on the road. It is telling me everything I need to know. VCU is going to come in here fresh, ready to go off that loss versus Dayton with a St. Bonaventure team that had to fight claw back in the second half to go beat a Duquesne team. Now, this team is inferior to VCU. VCU is going to, I hope, is going to win the A10. VCU is the spot in this one. Give me VCU minus 10.5 as my best bet for Friday. All right, to recap for everybody that missed it, but before I do that, like and subscribe to the channel. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know every time I go live. Listen, I go live when I feel like it. I could go at 11. I could go at 11:30. I could go at midnight. Shoot. Now that I have free time on my hands, I could go at 3 o'clock in the morning. You never know when I'm going to be live, but you want to grab these lines as soon as you can, because when you wake up in the morning, these lines are gone. That's why you need to hit the notification bell if you are going to subscribe to this channel. You know how much it costs you to subscribe to this channel? Nothing. It's free. Just subscribe. All right, here we go. To recap for everybody what the play is going to be here for Friday, Akron minus 8.5. We're going to go with George Washington, starting to be one of my favorite darlings in the A10, plus 2.5 as my dog of the night. Day, I should say. It's going to be 5 p.m. East on that one. And then we're going to go VCU is my best bet, minus 10.5 as the play. That's an 11:30 a.m. game. It's going to kick off. All the games are going to be on Friday, so make sure you get on that now. I don't think that line is going to last. So that's going to do it here for the Breakin' Ankle Show. Make sure you like and subscribe, and check out all the content that's coming on this channel. I will be back tomorrow night to give you the Saturday plays, as always. We're going to have an electric time here on the GunzPicks channel. Let's cash some tickets. Let's dominate the board. And as always, you. Let's keep dancing. Bang!
Daily, no one do it better. Let's keep dancing. Cannon shots fired. Cashing best clips reloaded, never tired. Have ourselves a day, straight up ballin'. Every show lit. You know we all in. Hit the hardwood, buzzers buzz, call it lit. Numbers crunch, strategy so legit. Breaking down plays, knowledge deep. College ball.